ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of NextGenTCG regular podcast. If you haven't watched our Hall of Fame edition, where we had Jesse Peng, we recorded that and posted that earlier. But in case you haven't, we welcome. I am truly blessed because I'm in the presence of TCG royalty right now. We have the one and only Hall of Famer, Gem Mint Pokemon, with us today. Zach, are you tired of seeing me yet?
Because you guys are just way too nice. You need to like chill with the whole fan thing. Back normal collector.
Are you tired of seeing me yet? Because I've seen you in person. It feels like every 2 weeks now. I saw you in Buffalo for a special project that you're doing, and then I just saw you in Vancouver for obviously your Hall of Fame induction to TCG Hall of Fame, and I think I'm seeing you again in like a month. So what you let me know when you don't want to see me anymore.
Yeah, to me, I only count the times I see you in the United States because I feel like that's what I really get to see Tetra. All the ones in Canada, I feel like we're just driving down the street and it's just like you at home. So like the Canadian ones don't count. I only count the USA ones. So to me, I've seen you like once the last 6 months. And then the other times I've seen you. I've actually been the one to visit Canada. So even though Vancouver's quite far away for both of us, I count that as a trip to me to you, not you to me. So
I see. So you were in Vancouver for Collectopia and the TCG Hall of Fame. Like I said earlier, we did a full breakdown of the event with our interview with Jesse. But overall, it was a great time. I got to see Zach, did a lot of buying, tad bit of selling. It feels good to be back in the hobby again, man. I'm like on eBay way too often during the day, too many hours, and I'm going too many card shows. So I'm like right back into the hobby again. The in-person card shows is something new that I've never done before. But I need you to strap in here because I need
to go to the card shows, man.
It feels good. It's actually beneficial if you're in the market of buying. But I need you to strap in here for a couple rants that I have going on. Keep in mind, this is just a perspective from a buyer because I just mostly do buying. Man, sometimes eBay sucks now. Like people suck. Just people suck in general. Like I never manually bid on auctions. I set up a snipe account on Jixen, and so I'm never at my computer when an auction ends. So like a couple times, a couple weeks ago, literally like less than an hour after an auction ends, I get like people or the sellers like messaging me being like, "Hey, you gotta pay? You gotta pay? You gotta give me my money?" I was like, "Dude, chill." So I haven't been to my computer yet. Chill out, man. Just relax. And then before I even got back to my desk, the seller had already canceled the auction or the listing and canceled my order. I was like, "What the heck, dude?" Like, I'm used to like back in the day, people are a little bit more relaxed. Like I'm all for like paying right away, but like I feel like if you give me at least 4 hours, I think that's good time that I should be able to pay for an item. But like for you to be messaging people like less than an hour or an hour after an auction ends, I feel like that tells you one or two things. That first off, they did not like the final price of the auction, which I fully get, but I truly believe that if you put something up for auction, take full that whatever it finishes at, you should honor that deal. So one thing, they probably didn't like what the card finished at. Another thing is that there's just so much shill bidding going on and people bidding and not paying that a lot of sellers are just really tired and getting kind of like impatient. Because like I can fully understand, like if you've listed a card like 5 times, that's like if you do like a 7-day auction, that's like 5 weeks where you haven't gotten any income coming in. But if you gotta chill out, man. You gotta chill out. Just give me a sec before I can pay.
It's crazy. I'm just gonna blame Amazon here. It's like every time they came up with like next day shipping, 2-day shipping, like, hey, do you want it delivered in like an hour? It's like I'm just gonna blame Amazon. Everyone just like expects everything to happen now. And it's like people don't understand. It's like I got a phone call the other day. I'm in my car driving. Like, hey, can you send a picture of this card? It's like, yeah, when I get to the card, like I'm not even home. And I mean, I think a lot of people do pay on the phone and they do expect this and that. And I will say one of the best things eBay did is do the auto pay where like sometimes it's like you have a week to pay, which I think is kind of crazy. But like if you don't pay within an hour, you're like it just checks out. Sometimes like I literally hit up all through the day. I was like, hey, like, which account is this coming out of? Because I wasn't up at 1 a.m. when the auctions ended. It just goes. So I know you complained to me a couple times in the last few weeks about people just messaging you nonstop about paying. It is kind of ridiculous, but I will say we're in a new market, a new world. We have just witnessed one of the greatest auctions ever with the Golden, probably
Hold
the
that,
biggest.
hold that thought. I still have more rants. We'll get back to that a little bit later. So Golden, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, um, just people. It just kind of like brings me back. Like I felt like nostalgic the other day. I'm like, man, I miss the oldie day. I miss the old times because of like back in the day, if an auction ended and some guy like canceled your order, like and most likely you knew
Mhm.
that person in some sort of way or have a way to contacting them, and they could like you could like publicly shame them on like E4 or Discord, and they would like get
Oh
absolutely
man,
destroyed. Remember those days where people had like accountability?
I
Now
just
you
I just have so much fun in messages now. I get so many messages like, "What's the lowest you take?" And I'm like, "What's the most you'd spend?" They're like, "Hey, last comp is this," and I'm just like, "Well, you should go buy that copy." Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's like the I was listing cards the other day, and like there were some nice cards, and like I was the only PSA 10 on eBay. Like there are no others, and everyone's like, "Well, I want to pay last comp," and I'm like, "Well, I want to set a new market high." Like I'm sick of selling everything at 85% to all these people who literally just go sell to someone else for like 88% or 90% or 95%. So it's like a lot of times these eBay messages, I'll get in there and I'll like drop some Pokemon lore. And like someone's like, "Ooh, man, I really want this like Mewtwo." And I'm like, "Do you have a Master Ball? Because otherwise you can't catch him." It's just like, I'm literally like, just like someone the other day was like, it was like, "Oh, I love this Wooper." And I was like, if I really needed this Wooper, I would have paid this asking price too. But people forget, like even when I was collecting back in like 2014, I was paying 10, 20, 30% above market a lot of times to get cards. And it worked out, although the number's a lot smaller. But it's just like if people would just pay a little bit more to get that card, it's like the hobby is still just booming. It just, I'm not saying it's a good time to buy, whatever, but I'm just saying, like, always buying at 80, 90% doesn't always get you the card, especially in a hot time. I think in a slow time, it's great. But when things are hot, it's like, you can never set a new high if you always sell at a percent.
I think well, the caveat that is we have to kind of like change our lens on that. Like you're talking about like vintage stuff. Modern, I think that's completely negligible just because we're talking about populations in like tens of thousands now for PSA 10 quality. So
Mhm.
that's completely different than when we were going like things like sub 100 pops. Yeah, pay more just to get it in hand. But modern day inventory now, yeah, so maybe you sell 90, which brings me to my next thing in person buying. Man, Zach, you've vended before, right?
Few times.
Few times. What do you feel is like for modern cards that still in print once again in the tens of thousands of pops? What percentage do you think you would get offended if someone offered you?
I mean, today's market, 70% I think is kind of offensive. I think 80% is like people just aren't connected enough to know who's paying 85, 90 on like anything. Like, I mean, you're talking a year ago, like 80% was pretty good for everything. You know what I mean? But it's like if you're casual to the hobby and you're not in the hobby every day, you maybe check once a week your Instagram. You follow 100 people and three are Pokemon people. Like selling stuff at 80% is like good if it's not super liquid. 90% if it's really liquid. But like if you're in the hobby, you're one of us that like every time I open Instagram, I see something Pokemon. I 100% of the time it starts with Pokemon, ends with Pokemon. You should really know people who are paying 90% on every card.
Mhm.
And if not, like you're literally just selling to someone who is going to go sell it to someone else at 90% plus for every card. Sometimes those buyers are at 95. Sometimes those buyers that are 100. And in times of extreme hype, extreme demand, those buyers will go over 100% of market because there's a shortage of slabs and an influx of buyers. And so acquainting yourself with these people is great. There's a lot of people that run full businesses off this. They go to a show, they spend $1 million, they spend $250,000. You're like, what are these people always buying stuff for? They're literally just selling to someone else, making 30 grand a weekend. How many people in this world can make 30 grand a weekend? They're
Zach,
literally
can- Zach can make 30 grand a weekend. Zach makes 30 grand a weekend in his sleep. You guys don't know.
I'm doing it. I'm doing like a hustle. Like I'm doing like a grind way. I'm not doing it in like hey, let me like get this guy's like PSA 9 Ray for 30K so I can go sell it to someone else at 50. Like I think there's a lot of people doing that. And it's all I think there's a lot of market manipulation, a lot of just fake comps, a lot of just this and that. And it's like there it's really tough because you can see through it really quickly when you know who you're dealing with. And I hate to get in the swamp with that. I let
Mhm,
other people get in the swamp, but some of the private comps just are crazy. They're just
mhm.
crazy, and it's a weird thing to be in because you're dealing with people who they're wishy washy, and you never want that when you're talking about high end. It's like you go buy a Rolls Royce or something, you want to talk to somebody you feel like you have a lot of confidence in. You want to be like, well, it could be 300, it could be 400, but just give me like 500. We'll just get out today. It's like, dude, like, why can't we be more transparent? I think there's a massive lack of transparency when it comes to high end. And I think that's why I'm like low list on eBay for all these like massive cards.
All right. So after all that, I feel vindicated that I am not screwing people or trying to offend people. So I've been to so I went to Collectopia and then I went to another card show recently in Toronto. And I'll be full transparent with I offer 80 to 85% on sub $500 slabs, which I think is a fair offer. And then anything close to 1,000, I give 90%, which is I think is also a very fair number. But like it happened a couple times at the shows I went to. Like you start off at 80%, people literally get angry at you. You know, like
Well, it's a super liquid card. I would get angry. You know what I mean? It's like because some people do pay full comps, and the biggest thing you have to do is you have to check the comp. A lot of people like they either have old comps or new comps, or they include comps that weren't paid, or like, oh, it's a 12K card. Well, the offer was actually 8K. You know what I mean? And it's like there's no availability. I think the seller has extreme flexibility with what they want. But if it's a liquid card, there's five on eBay, this and that. Like I would literally just check the comps. A lot of people get their comps wrong. And so that's another one of the biggest things is sometimes you're taking 80% of the lowest possible comp. And to me, that's like 50%.
yeah,
Because like when I'm looking for like 85, 90%, I'm looking at like the average or maybe on the high side because we're trending up. And it's like, well, that comp was 6 months ago. It's like, well, why don't we take the last 30 days? Because that's like more reflective of the
I,
market.
I I comp in real time. Like
Real time.
even real time. Like I will go
Right.
like when I'm at the table, even if it's a card that I've already comped like 10 minutes ago, a sale could have happened. I literally comp it right in front of the person. And like sometimes, and I will give them, even if like their card is listed below comp, I will give them the high comp at 80 to 85%. I won't try to squeeze them that way. And then I just say, listen, this is comp it together. I use card ladder just because I feel like that's kind of like the standard that everyone's going with. Some people like to use collector, which is cool. But card ladder is kind of like more real time. So I literally comp in front of them 80 to 85%. Will you take this? And then it's you even like that approach though. Some people don't like that approach. Some people would prefer like a more warmer, I don't know what the word is, like a more personal approach to providing an offer. People want you to
Why
just
would
like,
you do better? Like,
yeah, they like I multiple times rub people the wrong way. They're like, can you pay 80? Can I pay 85% up for these cards based off card ladder? And it's just people like get offended. Like
well, some people
they think you're trying to like resell, like buy off them, then just like resell or restock. And a lot of times people ask me, "Are you a vendor?" So they think like I'm gonna buy their cards, take the cards to my booth, and then try to resell at a profit, which is not the case. It's just kind of like I try to be like we're at a big show. I try to be like as efficient as possible. I'm not buying super high end. I'm just buying mid-tier level cards, set cards, recent modern day set cards. So super liquid items. And I'm just trying to get through the show as quickly as possible. And I feel like some people just want like the champagne treatment every single time. Like I'm
all,
not
all I
I'm only one dude. I just need to get through the show.
all I hear is buy like a vendor, sell like a collector. That's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing right now.
It's just it's crazy. So so if you're a vendor and I've offered you 80%, please don't get offended. Like I'll pay up to 85, 90 if it's a more expensive card because at an extra 5% on a more expensive card obviously is a lot more money. But yeah, I feel like 90%, 85 to 90%, no one should ever get offended by. I don't know. That's just my
I
rant right now.
I think the art and kind of the advice here is like, don't tell people you're offering them 80%. Look up the price, figure out the price. Like, let's say they had a card listed for 600, but you think it's actually worth 650 and you're offering 80%. It's like, just, come in flat, just be like, hey,
Yeah.
like, would you take, XYZ? And so I think people are more receptive to that. Once they know, like, oh man, this dude's offering 70%, they're like, no, get out of here. But really, like, your 70% might be there, like 95%, because people just cop differently. And like, for example, like Card Ladder is extremely biased to last sale. There could be 5 sales, but the last one may be low. And it's like, if you go in blind, just take Card Ladder price, like, and then sometimes like, I love using alt, especially when it's working the same, because it'll show like a Fnatic sale, a Golden sale, it'll show like all that data. And then you can go click and you're like, oh, well, that one actually wasn't first edition. Like, let's ignore that. And like sometimes like I get called out or caught on that. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize that was no symbol. And this one was whatever, because you're going off like the data point. You're not like clicking each listing. So like true comps actually take a while. I think the answer to all this is we just need to get like Meta Glasses or Google Glass or like
Right?
something. And it's like, hey, do you see what I'm doing? I want that card. What's the price on that card? Like, I want to do the finger point and like, what should I pay? And you can like turn your comp percentage up and down. Like, all right, we're gonna go up to 90. You know,
Yeah. But and then he had like people who want like I want 100% market. I'm just
some
like
people are that way.
you're just like if you sell anywhere, you're not getting 100% market. You sell on eBay, you're losing 13% unless you're selling through PSA, which will give you a certain threshold. They'll take 5%, and then you sell on Fanatics range between 6 to 12%. I'm offering you cash in hand today, and you can do whatever with that cash. Like I don't pay with Interact. I don't pay with a card. I offer cash, and people are just like, yeah, I want 100% market with cash. Just like,
Yeah.
come on, come on, come on.
I think a 5% discount's like very, very fair, like on all transactions, unless you're getting into like the plus $10,000 transactions. Just because like you do have fees on the platforms, the biggest vendors and sellers that do consignment will do 5% on the really, really big stuff. You got credit card fees, you got shipping, you have insurance, you have all these like other little factors that sort of tie in to like, okay, like taking 5% off is like pretty fair if you get physical cash or like, straight wire or like something that's like non-refundable. 10% I think is also possible for a lot of things, but it's more like if a card is super, super liquid, like, I mean, it's just really hard to discount. And I feel people there too. Cause like a lot of times, like we go to shows, we price really aggressive, we go low list. And we're saying, hey, we already know we're the lowest thing available. And it's like, I just want 100% of low list. And like, I do understand that. But even that situation, if someone came off 5%, it's like, it's hard to say no because you have all these friction fees, if you want to call them that. But again, some people will just give you 100% cash, and like you love those people, and a lot of times you try to take care of those people. Hey, do you want a free card? Hey, can I give something to your kid? Or hey, here's a free booster pack, or something.
No,
I think a lot of those things go a long way with people.
I will never offer more. I paid for one deal more than 90% just because I knew the person. They were a friend. They were vending and they were a friend. So we've done deals before. But I will, out of principle, I will never pay more than 90% of market value if I'm paying in cash. That's just me.
The disciplined investor. This sounds like a Benjamin Graham. What do you call it? A Tetra Ninja book.
Anyways,
The
so that's
disciplined.
just my rant on eBay and my new environment and new climate of going into shows right now. I just I try to be fair to people, and it's sometimes and I try, but I also try to be efficient. It just rubs people the wrong way sometimes, but that's where it is. But anyways, let's get into some news. Let's get into some news of stuff that's happened in the all hobbies. First, because we're going to talk some Magic the Gathering right now, Zach.
Uh-oh.
How much Magic the Gathering do you know?
I tried to get into it, and it was so competitive. So like everyone's older. Like I was like still in college fighting with doctors on trying to buy stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is not happening. Like I'm a set collector, and like when you're looking at like alpha or beta with having all these cards, and they're already like 10K when Pokemon's like $100 each, I was like, yeah, there's no way. So I have a lot of Magic friends, a lot of people I love dearly that only do Magic, but no, I am not the magical collector here.
Well, Magic, they have a lawsuit going on against Hasbro right now
Uh-oh.
because their anniversary set was found in a dump. Right now, it's like it literally dumped in a landfill. And so, what? Give people the backstory on that.
So Hasbro's being sued for overprinting and things like that, by basically misleading people on how much they actually printed this different things. And I don't know if it's the same lawsuit or a different lawsuit, but basically there are also some claims for some former executives, how management was treated and management decisions, and they literally had like project like something I forgot what it's called, but it was some like weird project name to basically like pump short term cash into Magic when they'd reprint really rare cards. And basically it outlines how Hasbro basically just disassembled Magic in the worst way to just screw all the players, the collectors, the long term people. I mean, I've met people who are some of the biggest Magic collectors in the world who Magic 30 came out. They say, I will never buy another Magic product again. And these are people with eight-figure Magic collections that just after that they said no, they're done. So what this has done is opened the world of TCGs to a lot of people. So a lot of people have gone to Sorcery, which is an old school sort of Magic style game. A lot of people are going to all these other, what's the other big one that's out? Riftbound, and a lot of it's because Magic has just been short term focused, mismanaged, and you have this massive influx of people who are going to take advantage, who would have otherwise been loyal to Magic and not tried anything else. So anyway, Hasbro's in a lot of deep. It's going to be really bad. We're going to see what happens. I'm sure you'll watch on the rug. There'll be some sort of settlement or whatever. But if you are actually going to go read the lawsuit, read what's out there, it does not look pretty.
Not look good. So yeah, they had like this anniversary stuff that I think they were charging like I can't remember. It was like
$1,000.
thousand bucks a box, and then
Giving it to
shortly
influencers.
yeah, and then shortly after it got listed, like it got delisted because to make it look like they sold out. But in reality, no one wanted it at $1,000, which is fair. Like an anniversary set, $1,000. Like, come on, come on. So no one wanted it, $1,000, but they made it look like people did want it, trying to create this like artificial market. And then they ended up just like because they didn't sell it, they literally just dumped all the cards into a dump.
But you know why people didn't want it? Because Magic has this thing called the reserve list, which they've said since the very beginning they will never, ever, ever reprint a card in the reserve list. And Magic 30 was a massive reprint of the reserve list, which they thought was a pure insult to the collector. They thought it was a pure insult to people who had been loyal to Magic for over 30 years to literally just come out Magic 30. It's like, why would you do this? It is the opposite of what a celebration of an anniversary should be. And at that point, you've broken trust. I mean, think about when you've lost trust with something. Do you ever want to go back to it? It's just, I think it's horrible. So,
Well,
props to people who didn't buy it.
you
Also,
say that, but we still submit to PSA. We'll get to that a little bit later. We'll get back to that a little bit later.
please submit again. I mean, we're still submitting. So.
We have the Stockholm syndrome with PSA. But anyways, so that's the Magic news. We'll stick with kind of in the collector universe. We talked about a couple weeks ago, Pristine Tags getting their new Pristine label that's kind of being worked right now. But Beckett, after being acquired by PSA, it's also getting a glow up sack. Beckett is getting a new label, which no one has seen any maybe you have. Zach's connected because he's a Hall of Famer now.
I don't know.
But
I heard they're getting their first computer though. I'm excited.
so we haven't seen any renderings yet, but Beckett is going to get a new label design. Which I don't know if you want to like. I could see. First off, their slabs, they're really bulky, really thick. I do like the fact they have like a UV sleeve over the card. I feel like the slabs are too thick though, for my taste, just because storing them is kind of a pain in the butt. One thing I would like to see if there is a label change, I would like their actual logo. It's to not be transparent. If the entire thing isn't transparent, so because if you lay it down, it's kind of hard to see the actual B in the Beckett logo when they have like that metal sleeve, either copper or black. If you're a black label, I kind of wish that was a little bit cleaner looking beside
Yeah.
each other. But why do you think? Why now? Why now that we need to do a label change, Zach?
Well, I think it'd be hilarious if PSA trolled Beckett, and instead of doing the black label, they started doing the red label for the PSA red. All of a sudden, we're just gonna have red labels everywhere because we're PSA, we own Beckett. No, I mean Beckett's tried to rebrand like 3 times, and they've been so just like scared to do it. They'll like post it at the national, and people are like, "Hey, there's a new label," And then they're like, "Oh, no, 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 we're just kidding, we're just kidding." Everyone like hates it, and it's like ugly. And it's like, dude, just do what CDC did. They posted it, they release it, and they're like, "Yeah, well, this is gonna be it. You like it or not." Fortunately, a lot of people like the CDC like label, cleaner, the black, and pristine being gold, this and that. A lot of people didn't like the change. A lot of people did sort of like the label, but I mean, the blue is cool, felt more comic book, whatever. But the Beckett label change, I think, is necessary. I think it's good to refresh the brand. You see your big brands like Apple, Walmart, this and that. They will do subtle sort of logo label changes here and there. It does help with a lot of things, so I think it's needed, necessary. It would be nice if Beckett would just do a full rebrand to kind of alienate themselves from the past. But I think label changes is kind of the first step in the right direction, and we'll see. So Beckett's on a new path forward.
Yeah. Also, with their new computer that they got, their one computer that they had now, Zach, they added, they offering something wild now. They will
What?
now, with new submissions, they'll be adding your scans to your cards.
Wow.
Wow.
Is this a 4
Wow.
gig of RAM or is this 8 gigs? I'm trying to decide.
So anytime you get cards graded at Beckett now, you'll get a scan of your card now, which I don't understand. Like when I go on eBay and I see like a listing for a PSA card that's been recently graded, I don't understand why sellers just don't use the PSA scan. Why do they have to feel like do they do they not know the PSA has already scanned the card for them in high
Well,
quality, or they just want their listing to pop with a picture of you with their flipper hands holding the cards so it shows up different. Well, like I noticed that you also don't use all the stuff that you posted recently. I can first off, I can always tell your listings have a certain vibe to them, so I always know when you have listed cards. I'm like that. That's one of Zach's post. There's something about it, like the contrast is a little bit different. But yeah, thoughts. Beckett not offering scans, and why don't everyone just use the PSA scans instead of taking their own pictures?
some people just want to show their dirty fingernails in the picture because that just adds a lot of character to the card. It shows a lot of history, a lot of depth. No, I think sometimes when a case is cracked or a case has got something like cloudiness or whatever. I mean, some people do want to show that. And I tell my team like, hey, if there's a case and there's some sort of difference and it doesn't match PSA scan, just take a true scan. So we have light boxes, we have the Epson scanner everyone uses. We take pictures many different ways, and we still default to PSA scans because they're just really, really clean, really, really nice, and we try to upload them way it's clean, but at the same time, like we try to show everything in the pictures. And you know what really frustrates me is the amount of messages I get for people asking for more photos, this or that. And like in my head, I'm like, if I was Fanatics, Goldin, one of these other auction houses on eBay, I know Dan uses one of the big ones. It's like they are not taking pictures for you. They're not seeing additional photos. Like you are going to make a purchase decision based on what's there. And so sometimes I'm just like, if you can't decide on these like ultra high res front and back scans, if you like the card, and a lot of times these are PSA 10s. Like people are like, hey, can I get a picture of that bottom right corner PSA 10? It's like, if you're already hesitating, like don't buy the card. Like that's literally my gut reaction. And a lot of times people are like, hey, can you look at this for me? Whatever. Like I will not look at the card and I will ask you not to buy it because I think you will not be happy with it. If you're looking for the perfect PSA 10, it's possible with a modern card. But a lot of times vintage, like you have one option on the market. You have two options on the market. And the grading standards back then were different. And just they're not gonna be perfect cards. Some of them are gonna have a nick on a corner, this, that. And I had a guy ask for one card. I was like, hey, I don't think you'd be happy with the card, man. Like, I would just look for another copy. And it just me being blunt. So and I guess it probably makes sense to send pictures and this and that. And I probably have the wrong opinion there. The people that really critique PSA 10s, I think you need to go to a card show. You need to pay that premium in person to buy that card. Otherwise, I'd rather just pretend to be like an auction house and be like, hey, these are the pictures. Like, I think if I take more pictures, you're just not gonna be happy with it.
Yeah, especially with modern, the buying process is like so streamlined now. And the cards are just so liquid, especially
Mhm.
with modern certs. Like I don't know if uh, just in case if you weren't aware, it's if you go to an eBay listed on a modern card and you click the pop report, If you scroll down that pop report, you'll actually, if the person hasn't used them, you will actually insert it directly into the listing. Will be the PSA scans that will probably be the best pictures that you can get. Just in case for those who did
Mhm.
not know that already. So you like to have like PSA scanned from the factory, almost like available basically with every modern card now. It's just the process of buying cards is just so streamlined now. It's so easy, especially on modern. It's fantastic, but I think that also adds to the low patience impulse culture that we touched on a little bit earlier. But now you don't even have to wait to like send your cards to the vault now because now that SGC, BGS, and PSA are basically all owned by the same company now, um, direct from grading, Zach, you can send your cards to the vault. No intermediary now, literally direct from grading, right from the grading press in California. You can send your cards directly to the vault, get them on the market as humanly fast as possible.
But you're not
It's
taking those 70% PSA offers? You don't like those? We're like, "Hey, you need
you
cash
you
right
can
now."
you can still do probably you could probably still do that, but if you don't want to do that, your cards can go straight to the vault now, which is this has been available for a while now, but obviously with BGS being acquired by collectors, you can now do it with BGS cards as well.
I thought we were in this for the money. Are we not here for the money? Are we actually collecting? Is this what collectors do now? They don't look at their cards, we just vault everything?
Yeah, I'm here for the good time, man. I'm here for the good
Yeah.
times with you.
I'm excited. I mean, it is the future of collecting, and I don't wanna jump ahead too far, but, with all the incidences and stuff like that, like, you truly do need to use a vault. Like, I take a multi vault approach. I think you do as well.
Yeah.
Um, but it's one of those things. It's like you have the big public vaults everyone knows about, and then you have your safety deposit boxes, which are little at home private vaults. But
I don't even like I'm at a point now where like I'm uneasy with even like a bank security vault now. So here's a little bit
but
of it. It's like a little bit of it because there are like these horror stories of like banks that's just emptying vaults without telling the customers and like stuff gets lost. I've only heard it happening in the States. I haven't heard it happening in Canada.
mhm.
But yeah, you mentioned it earlier, like the incident rates of break-ins and armed robberies at homes. Don't store high-end cards at home. Please, for the love of God, do not store high-end cards at home. Um, Stores, you have the Pokecourt stuff happen in New York. That was around the time I was visiting you in Buffalo. That just happened. I'm glad that everyone was safe and they still had a little bit of sense of humor with their post saying they took everything but Steam Siege, which
Oh my god.
which I found the dark humor in it. Once again, I'm glad everyone's safe. But like, if you're a store, you can't leave anything out overnight. If you're a person trying to sell cards, at a store, and you're carrying some hot items, like, be careful. Don't carry it. There are literally people who will like attack you and take your stuff. Higher incidents, especially in Canada with counterfeit money now. Um, People buying high end slabs with counterfeit money and the person not realizing. Yeah, man, it's just
You guys have real money? I thought it was off.
our money's made out of plastic, Zach.
Really?
You can run that through a washing machine multiple times; they will not break.
You guys call it dollars. I don't know.
So yeah, like you touched on it, man. You gotta protect your valuables.
Mhm.
I'm slowly transitioning. I'm doing a big deposit in a couple months, but basically, I've decided like anything WotC first edition, I don't even want in like a bank vault anymore because I'm different because I live in Canada. Like I don't have that fancy collecting insurance that you do. And for me to physically move cards across the border is a high level of risk if I ever do want to sell, just based on how insurance works. So I'm slowly getting my first edition WotC stuff into multiple vaults. I only use two right now. I use Fanatics and I use the PSA vault. I haven't dabbled with the alt vault yet, which I assume is probably just as secure. But yeah, man, protect yourself and just be careful out there.
Yeah, the old vault is the same building as the Golden Vault, and, that building also has a lot of super high-end art that, may be worth more than what's in some of those vaults, so it's kinda crazy. No, you gotta be safe. You really gotta be safe, and, this may sound insane. I think people know I move a lot. I've lived in New York City, I've lived in Chicago, Nashville. I actually, when I moved to Dallas, I made it a point to not keep anything at all in my apartment. So I have nothing Pokemon in my apartment at all. I have two MetaZoo boxes for when I get a little jittery. If I need to, like, crack a pack, rip a cig or something. I don't smoke, by the way, but I've got them there just in case times get tough. I got to rip something, but I also want to really feel like I got to do it to do it. Other than that, I got a little pack of 100 sleeves there, just in case we pull some heat. But, no, I keep nothing at home. It's really weird. I've had the decked out Chicago apartment that was just awesome. But I think my goal, here in Dallas is eventually if I to get a house, I wanna get a house in the most secure neighborhood, and I wanna be the cheapest house in that gated community. Like, I wanna be, like, the least targeted house, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what that means, I don't know what price point that would be, but, like, I see some of these gated communities and, like, I go on Zillow or whatever, and it's like the gate's just open, and I'm like, "This is not gated." Like, it's just there's no security guard there. But, even when I lived in New York and Chicago, we always had security guards. You had to badge in, to get in the building. The security would see you. Hey, where you going? This said get on elevator, and like you physically could not take my collection on like one elevator ride. And then you have cameras, all this other stuff. So like that to me was a security thing. But here in Dallas, it's kind of like at some point, I'd like to live in a house and like actually display some cool art or something. That is a goal eventually. But I only feel comfortable in like a gated community, so no, I'm gonna figure that out before I even bring another Pokemon item into the home.
Yeah, be safe, everyone. We I know we think that these are just personal collections, but your personal collection could be, especially with the economy. And I'm assuming the economy is just as bad as in the U.S. as it is in Canada right now. When times get tough, people get desperate. And do desperate things. So just be careful out there. So let's move into market trends. We will talk about the golden auction, but we're gonna save that for the main topic. So we're just gonna, since I'm kind of in the process of buying lots of product right now. I'm on eBay a lot, like I said earlier, so I notice a lot of trends. First things first, we do have a reprint of some notable, more modern day sets. Journey Together, Dust and Rivals, Traumatic Evolutions, all got a reprint. One thing to note though, with Journey Together and Dust and Rivals, obviously Traumatic Evolutions, there was no booster box, but there was no reprint on booster boxes on Journey Together and Dust and Rivals, which has skyrocketed the price of Dust and Rivals boxes, just because that is the premium, that was the de facto premium sealed product at this point. Booster boxes are always, but there was not, well, then you get to booster cases, and then you get into, oh, you get fresh from the factory pallets of boxes. There's multiple layers there, but booster boxes are usually the staple premium product. I was with a friend over the weekend, and I was just kind of like buying. He kind of wanted to start learning about Pokemon. He asked me like, Nick, why is the booster box so much more expensive than the booster bundle when the booster bundle pack, like the per pack cost, is so much cheaper? Why is the box so expensive, and why is the per pack bundle so much cheaper when the packs are cheaper? And it's like, you can't, like, for collectors long term, people always want the best of the best, the most premium product. And for now, it's always been booster boxes. So you've seen kind of like booster bundles for those sets kind of like drop, whereas booster boxes just like kind of took off.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it. And I think the booster box has like the guaranteed hits and stuff too. And so you get like, full art or this or that. I mean, technically, I think a booster bundle, you open it up on average, you should. But it's like you got some dud bundles. I've had a couple of dud bundles in a row too, but that booster box is collectible. I wish Phantom Displays would come out with more of those like cases and you can just do a whole like row. Did you see that picture Rusty shared with the Gab Italian spaghetti?
No.
It literally had every booster set, like, all, like, in a triangle all the way up to first head base. It was at the top here. I'll send the picture so you can see it. But, like, they're all in the acrylic cases, and it's like, that's kind of a sick display, and it's like, how did that guy get started? It's like, you just started buying today. And it's like, you hear this podcast today, you're listening to this today, but it's like, eventually, like, this will be 5 years from now. This will be 10 years from now. World goes on, man. It's like the sets today are pretty freaking cool. Like Ascended Heroes, I know it doesn't have it's just the ETB, but, like, when you look at how stacked that set is, like, feels like a great set to own. I don't think buying it today is the best financial decision because the factory is a reprint and yada, yada, yada. But I think 10 years from now, I think that's going to be like an amazing set to have.
Hmm.
So, no, I just think it's got a lot of collectability, but yeah, boxes are great.
Hmm. They sure are. Do you know what are not great right now?
But
Chinese cards. Chinese cards are not good right now. We
well,
talked about this earlier, like a couple months ago. I was like, dude, Zach, I am so bearish on Chinese. And you're like, yeah, bearish on Chinese too.
the
Dude, you
the
know the
fact
amount of Chinese card that's being dumped on eBay right now? Like when I was looking like a couple months ago, it was just like it was all like all I see like half like a page of listing was just all burger shoes. It was just like all burger shoes. But now it's all Chinese cards. It's all Chinese. There's so much Chinese being dumped on eBay right now. It's astounding. It's great. The artwork's fantastic. Currently exclusive artwork, but it's a lot. And we were right. Other than that one membership Mew, that's like a $20,000 card. Everything else, like just destroy. Just throw it on there. Throw it on eBay. Get it out of here.
I mean, I'm telling you that they're turning the factories on. They're turning those printers on. You're telling me there's not a Chinese person over there right now that's like, oh, we can run this a little bit longer and we could buy a house. It's like, dude, the regulation over there, like that type of behavior is almost encouraged. That's like how bad it is over there when it comes to just stuff like that. I mean, I just, I mean, I have many Chinese friends. Love them all, but, the ethics when it comes to China manufacturing is, more more is more.
Yeah, more is more. So, yeah, Chinese cards. It's a thing.
They're beautiful, they're great, I just like, anytime you get over, like, a $5 mark for any card, I'm like, "Really? This is really pushing it." And you got Gengar for, like, 800, 1,500, something like that, I'm like, "Listen, like, this printer could crank out, like, a million of these in one day," and, like, I don't know, just it's hard to have confidence just knowing what China's done in the past in many of the factories.
China likes to make money, but they don't make as much money as Corey, because our friend Corey hit a grand slam with his most recent Fanatics auction. We're talking about the double hollow air Magikarp that finished for 132K. Zach.
It's a phenomenal price. It's a phenomenal price. I mean, he did really, really well. There's a lot of marketing around it, a lot of hype around it, a lot of push around it. The shining double hollows are actually more common than the regular set double hollows. I think people don't really know that. I'm always a big believer in don't hurt someone else's cheese. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to hurt someone else's ability to make money. This that. So like I would never come out and talk negatively. Just you want to see Corey do well, and independently of everything else. So double hollows are really hard to grade. I think the first set double hollows are like less than like I think 1 to 2% of the print runs. My estimate for the amount of them I see. I think for unlimited double hollows, I always estimate around 10% of the print run. That's just for what I would organically see in 2015. You obviously have a lot more exposure to it now because people are finding them. They put it on eBay, they're putting high price, they're not selling, and so it feels like you see more. But when Neo Ref sets were just list, you really just didn't see the first ads nearly as often as the unlimited. And then the shinings, because you get the shinings per box or whatever, you'd actually hit shinings more often than you would like an Entei or a Raikou or whatever. And it sounds really weird, but like there's more shiny Gyarados out there than probably any other set card of rep. Whereas like for Neo Destiny, it's not the same because you had 6 shinings that were in rotation, and Neo Destiny, it's like you actually hit the set cards more often than you would like shiny Charizard. But only having 2, they get a guarantee per box. Changes those numbers a lot.
I found it interesting that he decided to go with a weekly auction for that card instead of the premier auction. What do you think of that? Why do you think he did that?
I've debated that a couple times. You think the market's really hot and you're trying to time Logan Paul auction, or you're trying to time something else, or the premier auctions actually have more fees. So you have like fixed fees, like minimum fees. The weekly auction, over a certain amount, you actually pay less fees, which makes sense. And sometimes you think the buyer's going to find that it's great. So Premier's cool if you think you really need a lot of marketing to find a buyer. The Premiers also get kind of overwhelmed with other cards, whereas like Goldin will put a TCG Premier, and Heritage will do a TCG Premier. Fanatics combines it all into one, so it's all sports, and you have like 3 Pokemon cards and Magic. And yes, you will reach that buyer, But are you really differentiating the final price point? Um, I don't know. So like I don't mind it. I think the hobby is hot enough that people are looking at the weeklies. So yeah, it's I don't mind it.
So 2 weeks out, so that sale happened a couple weeks ago. The following week after that big sale, like 5 more double hollow errors. Not None of them were PSA 10. I think they were all around nines. 5 more showed up on the Fanatics auction
Yeah.
block. I don't know if they were couriers or not, or they're just people trying to jump on the double hollow hype train, that card set. But it did flush out more double hollow errors.
Why not? I mean, I've got a full set not labeled because PSA didn't label stuff for a long time, and I don't really want to pay to recase cards I already know what they're worth. So
Yeah, I know, I know. We will save our PSA rants for a little bit later,
what's
but
crazy is the cards are accurately graded, but I'm please submitting again for like label changes.
the
It's like I'm still
qualifier, yeah.
submitting. It's like when can I stop submitting? When can the cards just be like what they are? Like
Okay. On the topic of reslabbing and recasing, let's move into main topics here. Actually, I'm gonna shelve that one for later. I want to talk about
the massive sale, the Uncut Cheat.
yeah, you can do that. Go ahead, run that.
World record, world record. I feel like you ever play like Call of Duty and it's like double kill, triple kill. I feel like this is like world record price. The Japanese base, not the no rarity, but just the base. It's the the 4 quadrant full sheet. A lot of times for Japanese, you will see the quadrants. It's like a fourth of a sheet. This is the full sheet. I think there's only like 2 or 3 that are known that have been seen before. With all the stuff coming out of Japan, maybe there's a stack. I know one sheet in particular that I won't name. There is a stack of them out there, not this one, but so sometimes that hurts bidding. But this sheet in particular, I think it's 1996, first set ever released, first true trading card game for Pokemon released, and it went for $600,000. This was a record for sheets, surpassing the Disco sheet, the Cosmos sheet, the first ed base sheets. I mean, I was trying to buy a first ed base sheet years ago for like 150. I couldn't get someone to sell. It's like everyone's like, "Hey, it's $1 million." I'm like, listen, like, it's just tough. Maybe now it is, but it's just like years ago, that was just like crazy. So for 600K for a sheet where the best card on that sheet was selling for 10K at PSA 10 not that long ago, utterly insane. I think that sheet actually has a lot more historical value than what we both really understand now. Kind of like a lot of people are starting to see the glossy Pikachu for 1996 Core Core being incredibly underrated and incredibly more sought after than it was probably a year or two ago. I think you just have these historical sort of values and historical chases realigning with the market as more people come in. They're saying, Mickey Mantle and Michael Jordan, the rookies, were the chases. Why are some of these Pokemon cards not aligning with the same fundamentals and factors as other collectibles? So I think we're seeing a shift in things, and some of the undervalued cards and items are being appreciated to the highest degree. So seeing the sheet sell for 600K is crazy. It's amazing. It's great for the hobby, and I'm excited to see it because it's giving sheet collectors something new to be proud of, and it's also really lifting up a truly rare and collectible item in the hobby.
Man, the world of uncut sheets is just like another. I don't even want to go. I can't go there. I can't go there. I can't go there. You guys are too like errors and uncut sheets. I'm just trying to get cards in plastic right now. It's I can't. Otherwise I will not be able to sleep at night because I'll just start hyper focusing on uncut sheets. But yeah, it's really cool. Congratulations on the seller of the uncut sheet for 600 grand. All right, so I want Zach. I want to play a game with you. Want to play a game with me?
I'm scared.
You know, okay. It's
Is
a
this a
fun game.
game that we can?
It's a trivia game. It's a trivia game.
Okay, let's play
Oh,
trivia.
I want you. What are the top 5 most graded Pokemon cards of all time, starting at number 5? What do you think it is?
Well, number one's Burger Chew. So,
Okay. Okay. Well, I said start at 5. Start at 5.
well, five is hard because it's like I'm thinking of the best ones, and it's like okay, now I got to reorder. Are we talking? So only Pokemon, and
Only
is it only
Pokemon.
TCG?
TCG only.
I
Oh
would.
no, no, all time. It doesn't have to be just TCG.
Okay, so any card that has Pokemon on it all time. Well, we know Burger Cheese number 1, which I won't say yet. I didn't say it. Didn't say it. Um, ooh, man, there are some crazy Kabuto collectors out there, but probably not that. I think, Van Gogh would be up there. I think it'd be maybe 3rd or 4th. I don't know if I'd put it in 5th. I think the Van Gogh would be really, really high. Mass-produced cards, the Black Star Promo Pika 1 would be up there, but I don't think that's enough. I mean, the Moonbryon and some of those other ones are gonna be high as well, but I don't know if they're gonna. I mean, Burning Shadows Charizard was one of the crazy ones for a while, but these are like rares. These are like hard cards you get. These are not like common cards. And your gut would be like, what's the most printed card? It's like, well, base and limited Pikachu, but it's like, I don't know if there's 50,000 of those copies graded. So I don't even know if that would be a good option. There's like a limited Charizard for base had 8 print runs, but I think the modern sets today are outprinting that like by 10x. So I'm gonna go with. Can I just name the 5 in any order?
Okay, so let's do just for the online content. Let's start at number 5. You can take your time to write this down.
151 Charizard.
SIR.
As yes, English.
SIR. That's number 5. Okay, you are correct there.
The
What is
what?
You are correct.
Oh, yeah, I didn't cheat. This is awesome, baby.
Number 4 is gonna throw you for a loop, though.
Number 4 is
That's a hint right there. Number 4 is a tough
Can I
one.
get the year?
Nope, I can't give you the year.
Okay, if you're gonna throw me for a loop.
Starting at number 5
Okay,
is
so I
not
know
it's
number
not
4 is
it's not the
SIR.
SIR. It's not the SIR from 151. So what do you have at number 5?
Oh my gosh, you're killing me, you're killing me. Um, I'm gonna go with Moonbryon.
Nope.
Is it in the last couple years?
Within the last 6 years.
6 years? I'm going 6 years back for this.
Reach
Um,
back.
if I'm going back then, I'm thinking Champion's Path, like Charizard,
You are
but
correct.
oh, you serious?
The Charizard V
Yeah,
from
the
Champion's
giant
Path
one, yeah.
is
No,
the
no, no,
5th.
the Elite Trainer Box ETB
Yeah,
Pro.
yeah.
Wow,
Elite that is number 5.
that's
That's
crazy.
that's
Just knowing the
crazy,
year,
right?
I think, helped that.
Yeah. Okay, number 4, what do you
The
got?
SIR 151 Charizard.
SIR 151 Charizard. Number 3 is gonna put your mind in a blender, but after you get it, it would all make perfect sense.
After I get it, it's gonna make perfect sense. Well, it can't be anything vintage. Okay, I didn't get a read there. Um, let's think, what are the sets that just came out? Can I look at, like, just the most recent sets? I'm not gonna look up anything, I just wanna see the set names.
You're
Um,
actually on the right track that you went off of it.
vintage? It is vintage.
It's vintage.
Vintage Pikachu. Is that base unlimited?
It's
Was
not a
vi
and then I it's not a Pikachu.
Okay. Vintage Charizard.
To
Um,
really think about it, it's English.
English vintage Charizard. So, I mean, you have Dark Charizard, but I don't think that's gonna be enough. It can't be Blaine's Charizard.
Actually, you might be right. It might have been how they have this, they might have grouped it all together. But at number 3, we have base Charizard.
I said base
Yeah,
Charizard.
you are correct. You have it correct as base Charizard. For some
Okay.
reason, I thought it was first edition only, but they've kind of grouped everything together here on Gemray. That
I see, I think there's a
base
lot of base Charizards out there, but I still think a modern, like, Moonbryon would be a higher than base Charizard.
No, base Charizard holding it down at over 94,000 copies being graded according to
94,000?
yeah, according to Gemrate.
It's a lot.
It's a
It's a lot
lot.
of 3s and 4s getting graded, I'll tell you that.
And a lot of PSA 9 regrades. Trying to get
And
the gem rate,
I bet you
being 1% on those cards.
well, I'm looking at the sets, and it's just like Pikachu, Charizard, it's like I mean, you have the Vivid Voltage, like the Chonky Chew, but I don't think that one would be high enough. And a lot of people probably graded Chonky Chew. For that being the second most would be really weird. Is that it? Okay, I didn't think so. And then, Surging Sparks, I don't think it's been out long enough for
It's
it.
not a set card.
Van Gogh? Okay, okay,
Pikachu,
we got Van
Pikachu with
Gogh,
the
then
chapeau, with gray felt hat Pikachu is the
Okay,
is
that
the
makes well, I said it earlier, but you're like, "Put them in order." It's like, "Huh?
the second most graded card. The number one,
Burger
everyone,
Chew,
Burger Chew, easy one.
double
So
cheeseburger, extra."
funny enough, the Pikachu, the Burger Chew has a gem rate of 88% of all submitted. The Pikachu with the gray hat, Van Gogh Pikachu, 45% gem rate. Coming at number three, Charizard base hollow, 1% gem rate, which is crazy. Charizard SIR from 151, 29% gem rate. Charizard V from the Champions Path ETB, 56% gem rate. So crazy. The 88% gem rate on the McDonald's Pikachu, absolutely insane. That's a crazy gem rate.
It's pretty crazy. You know what's even crazier is, I'd say I bought some packs recently, maybe actually a couple months ago, and, I keep them in the packs because you know that they're 10s inside.
Yeah.
So why would you pay the PSA fee of $25 a card to grade a 10 when you already have the pack, you know it's a 10, it's 88%. It's like so I'm literally just gonna keep 'em in packs, and it's like it allows you to grow the investment more because you know and people think it's crazy to buy those. I think it's like, if the $50 card goes to 200, it's a 4x. Like,
Mhm.
for the Illustrator to 4x, you're talking like, generational wealth times 3 or 4, like, it's crazy.
You know me, Zach. I don't sell anything unless I get 4x. What I put
Oh
into it.
my gosh.
What a world we live in, right? What a world.
Eventually, you're gonna have to stop selling cards. You're like, "Well, I need like 400K for this, like, common canopy." It's like, "Come on, Tetra."
Nah, it's gonna be a while before I need to sell stuff. But anyways,
It's gonna be tough to
um,
explain to your wife, like, "Hey, I really can't sell." It's like, I told Zach I wouldn't sell it to you, It's like,
okay. Let's not bring our wives into this conversation. Let's move on to
"Both
main.
wives, they're awesome."
Let's move on to main topics here. So, first main topic. Okay, we're gonna talk about please submit again because I feel like this is just like a kick in the nuts to everyone in the collecting sphere, especially with all of the stuff that's going on. But PSA has increased their grading prices now. They are increasing their grading prices, having shortened turnaround times, despite their leaders saying that their current turnaround times are unacceptable. Man, they just don't care, dude. They just do not care with all the bad PR they get with the buyback stuff, inconsistencies with grading. The most important thing for grading companies to be consistent with their grading. To be fair, because they take in so much inventory and they obviously grade the most out of everyone. Relatively speaking, I think they do a pretty good job. I'll admit they do a decent job compared to the sheer volume of it. But it's just inconsistent grading, quote unquote. They just decided, despite all this big bad news, we're just gonna increase our prices, and all you guys are just gonna chew on it because we're too big to fail right now.
I think the price increase was necessary. I think last time PSA was having a shift in ownership, they did not increase prices fast enough to the point they had to shut down for like 4 or 5 months, which is insane. And so, with all the hype right now and prices just being out of the wazoo, um, there's so many submissions. I mean, CGC has influx submissions, Tag has influx submissions. Um, I think BGS is still alive, but like
Are you
PSA,
sure? Are you sure about that?
yeah. You sure about that? You sure? So, PSA has a ton of submissions, and so it's like one of those things that just they have to siphon it a little bit. If they don't, I mean, there was a point that PSA was getting 1,000,000 cards a week, like way more than their capacity. It's I mean during COVID or whatever. So it's like with this, they didn't really give dealers a heads up. So people just kind of found out when they found out, and you got to slow down. So otherwise you're going to get to this point where you're expecting a 45-day turnaround, and you're going to have a 180-day turnaround, and that's because they just keep getting more and more and more. I will say I had a Super Express where I sent like a week ago on Friday, and it got done same day, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Except for the fact they in-forward my card, and I got to figure that out. So I found I was going through a lot of old cards, a lot of old stuff I've had for a long time, Found a really, really minty card that has gone up substantially in value. Well centered, looks beautiful. I thought I shot for a 9, maybe a 10, long shot 10. Sent it in, and they said it had been recolored. I was like, if you knew when I bought this card how much it was when I bought it, there's no way there's no way it's recolored. So,
Mhm.
and I didn't even see it when I was looking at it. So I got to figure out what they saw. SPC is actually pretty bad at catching some of that stuff. So I'm gonna follow up with their support and kind of try to see what it is. It's just it wouldn't make sense to recolor a $5 card that's now worth a couple grand. So I want to see what they saw.
I just kind of feel like we basically have like all Stockholm syndrome with PSA. We just keep coming back despite we keep getting burned, cheated on, and
Hmm.
beaten up. We just come back, man, because it's despite like I started buying tag cards, I started buying CGC cards. I used to be a strict only PSA guy, but I feel like I've been kind of jilted a little bit to just try to explore other companies as well. But it's just the PSA is just the most liquid slab out there on the market, and it's not even close. Um, I know our friend Jesse is not gonna like this, but when I was in Collectopia. When I was in a Collectopia, there were people selling pretty decent cards, cool cards, but they were in tag slabs, and just straight up vendors are like, "I like that card. I like the grade. I just can't take it because the slab's not liquid enough. I need to just I need to stay super liquid." And like I fully get like if you're a vendor and like you're really hustling out there and you just need to stay liquid as possible, taking on and you just need to you need to know what's going to move and move fast. And I fully understand what some people are like. I can only buy PSA plastic right now.
2 years ago, I bought a 100 card tag sub when they were doing the drops, and I never sent the cards in. And when I was at the tag booth for Collectopia, I was like, "Hey, like guys, just heads up, like I still have this. I forgot to sub." And I'm trying to figure out like what I want to send because I don't want to send Pokemon. I want to send like another like set. So I'm thinking about maybe like breaking some Harry Potter boxes and like sending the hits or like I don't know, like crack like something else and just send the hits. There's so many TCGs coming out, and so I'm like sort of in the last few months had this like mental like because I've already paid for it. I don't have to pay to sub. Like the payment was made years ago, which is really weird. Like, but
So
I'm trying to.
you're like buying forever stamps.
Well, kind of, yeah. But I may have paid more than what they're currently
Oh
charging
no, oh no.
because they were in like high demand. They were doing drops, and so anyway, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out like what I want to send because like I want to do like some sort of set where you have 100, and I want it to be PC. I don't want it to be something I'm going to sell or whatever. And so I don't know. Like, if you want to brainstorm with me, but, like, I've had some things like it's like, I've thought about collecting 151 Master Balls with CGC and Pristine, so I really like the labels, think it'd be really cool, it'd be a way for me to have, like, a CGC collection that's, like, a little different. And, like, for, uh, PSA, like, I have, like, a pretty decent Lorcana thing going right now. I think it's really, really cool that I've been sort of growing privately. I'll share at some point. But I'm trying to get more and more into other TCGs. And, like, One Piece would be kinda cool, they just grade really, really easily. But, I don't know, if you have any thoughts with, what we should send to Tag for the free 100, we should think about that.
Yeah, One Piece print quality, absolutely bulletproof. Just it's too good. The print quality is too good.
Imagine you get the One Piece finally, I would just throw it on the ground and be like, "2 piece." But
Oh my god. That's such a dad joke. Oh man, I gotta
Never
delete
did
that.
exist.
That was just too corny for even me. Anyway, so just wrapping up with PSA, when do you think they're gonna get bought, Zach? I because to me, like if I was trying to position my company into like trying to sell, I would be like, if I was PSA, I'd be like, listen, look, we are like kicking all these people in the nuts, and then we're gonna charge them more, and they just keep coming back. Look at our company and how profitable it is, and how what a good buy this would be. We are like straight up abusing our customer base, but they just keep coming back for more and paying more. So I
Yeah.
just kind of from like I just picture like an evil executive sitting beside a big wooded desk, be like coming up with a solution. Like, how do we make our company appear more valuable? Let's just increase prices and just show it doesn't really matter.
So Nat Turner doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not involved in like PSA solicitation of like other like sales, private equity, this or that. You have to assume because they're owned by private equity, they are looking for an exit at some point. That is a default response. My assumption is because it's been so long and the market is so hot that they're probably not getting the price they want. They're probably not able to get their, 4, 5, 10 billion, whatever they want now. I mean, I think it was like at one point it was something where it's like they bought it for X, it went up a lot, then it came back down, and now it's probably up again. And so I kind of got the feeling that maybe there's other options that may be explored. And so when you're exiting, a position, maybe PSA decides to go public. So that could be the other option too. But again, I think there could be a buyer that comes in, it's got a ton of money that says, hey, SpaceX 1.5 trillion, like what's 5 billion for PSA when we think the collectibles industry is going to be 200 billion dollars and whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like at some point PSA just owns so much of the market. You really have a lot of control over collectibles if you are PSA this and that. I think CDC is great that they sort of own 99% of the market share and like a lot of other verticals like comics and coins and some other stuff. Whereas PSA kind of they're great with cards, but the other verticals they're still growing. They're still this and that. So um, who knows? I think it's going to come to a crunch point where something public will happen because the people that bought in at the 700, 800 million years ago are going to want to move into another investment decision. Maybe some hold on, but push will come to shove, and I think this is the year we're going to see it.
Steve Cohen wants to buy more sports teams, man. He wants to own a sports team in every big four sport.
He's trying to buy a World Series, and he's still struggling.
Which is crazy, right?
I mean, he paid a lot
Oh,
of money to lose. Like that.
you pay a lot of money to lose. Anyways, all right.
All right,
Okay.
my subs are all coming back fives now. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Please,
All
please
right.
bring
So
the 10 labels back.
we tied recording this podcast perfectly because with the Collectopia event, we got kind of pushed back a little bit. But we are post Golden, post Logan Paul, Illustrator Charizard auctions, which were big numbers, which we'll talk about. But let's talk about some other stuff that happened in the auction. We had some Unicarp showing up. BGS 10 Unicarp selling for 211K. And surprisingly, the PSA 10 not that much cheaper at 180K, which I thought that was a little bit
Feels high. Feels very high.
but I just between like the cost of the two is a little bit I feel like an outlier. Um, BGS 10 vintage
Where's the
that
stain?
it, that's I feel icky about that. That's like, are you buying this knowing I didn't take a quick look at like the cert number to check how old that cert is. It's existed for a while, but like we had this conversation like vintage pristine 10 did not exist right out of the pack or straight from the hands of the people. Like you cannot pull a PSA 10 vintage card now out of a pack.
Mhm.
It's not going to happen. So I thought that was a little bit weird that that BGS 10 of that card existed. But PSA 10, all which whatever it's whatever it is.
I mean,
Um, yeah,
like here's a good example. Like when first set base 10 Charizard was 200K, Gary was offering $1 million to buy the BGS 10. That's like 5x. I don't think every card is a 5x, but like BGS sort of it's not a black label, it's just a 10. But you see how close these two are, like 10 versus that. It's like to me that's a little surprising. I think the 10 should have been like PSA 10 should be like 120, but I mean still getting 200K plus for a non-hollow Unicarp. I mean, I would be very happy with regardless of the PSA 10 sale. It's really
yeah,
strong. It's just the multiple's not there anymore.
yeah. The multiple does not add up. I always come up with like a four times multiplier. That's usually my standard between the PSA 10 and the BGS. Well, that's a black label. That's the black label multiplier. So I guess that it would be a little bit different
Like
for not
1.5, I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, something like that. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting to look at. All right, so let's talk about Charizards. The PSA 10 Charizard from the Logan Paul break that has the Logan Paul qualifier on the PSA label, sold for 950K. We said my one of my predictions in our 2026 Big Bowl predictions was that there would be $1 million Charizard public sale, and I thought it was going to be this one. And since it was not this one, my big bold prediction has been flushed down the toilet. because I do not think the next Charizard will not be higher than 950. I would say if you are in the market, I said this in our interview with Jesse, if you're in the market of selling Charizard and you really want to sell it, you should probably look to take like 875, 860, 850 all day because you do not have the marketing prowess and the amount of media attention that this Charizard got in the Logan Paul auction. You will not, if you saw 950K and you feel like you need to rush out your Charizard to auction right now, that would be a very poor play overall.
It's crazy. I mean, the Charizard's crazy. When you consider that 30 to 40% of that final price is Logan Paul marketing, and you like have the Logan Paul adjustment down to like 500-600K, it's like, I think the Zards after this are gonna come back. There was a sale. There's a couple sales that were not far from this. This sale definitely had a premium even over those. But like when we look at the price of this auction, and I know we'll get to the big stuff, but it's like most of that value I think is in the marketing. It's about being in the room with all those wealthy people. It's about networking. It's about having something to sell. You think about all the people who were at the live viewing of the auction, they all had a brand to sell. They all were pushing a name. They all had an advertisement. They're all trying to drive traffic to their store, the site. And like when you think of the value of a Super Bowl commercial, how much you pay for that to be in front of all these people, and you're getting like, not a similar audience, but you're still getting quite a few people. I think it's probably worth it for all the impressions, because I mean that's going to be on his channel forever. He's got 25 million subscribers. That video is probably going to get 10 plus million views. You're paying for marketing, so to see these things go higher, I wouldn't beat yourself up if you feel priced out of the market. I would just think there's a lot of people in the room that got more money than they know what to do with, and when they see something shiny, they bid. And we're looking at comps, and we're looking at prices, we're looking at collection goals. They're looking at a shiny shoe to put on and then put in the closet forever.
Hmm. Okay, let's move on to the big bad boy. But before we talk about the final price, once again, PSA just kicking collectors in the shins because the PSA 10 Illustrator, which we all knew has been regraded multiple times and probably not a true PSA 10 if you take a deeper look at it. But originally it was in an older case, an older PSA slab. But near like a couple weeks ago, closer to the end of the auctions. Long and behold, I'm sure with some great assurances, it was moved into a modern day lighthouse slab. So once again, just kicking collectors in the shins. But I don't expect anything else, to be honest with you, coming from PSA. PSA cares about one thing only, and that is their bottom line. Zach, what is the first ever card that PSA ever graded?
It's
That
Mickey Muno, right? Or it's Honus Wagner.
Honus Wagner, the Gretzky Honus Wagner. So publicly, probably one of the most notorious cards ever out there. The person who trimmed the card testified in the federal court that he trimmed the card in 2013. PSA publicly admitted at the time they knew the card was trimmed. Yeah, we got layers here. And to this day, that certification has not been decertified because it would devalue the card too much. So this is the company we're talking about. So it does not surprise me whatsoever that they recased the PSA 10 Illustrator, despite it not being a PSA 10. That's just for all the outrage of people saying that it should not be in a PSA 10 case. You have history to show you that PSA, they really don't care. They just don't care. Whatever. If it impacts their business, they're not going to do it. So, anyways, that's my little rant right there. PSA 10 Illustrated in a brand new Lighthouse slab, finishing off at, I wanted to say 16.5, but Zach's like, no, we got to get it right down to the decimal here. So
Nice.
$16,492,000. Thoughts?
That's a lot of money. It's crazy. I kind of can't believe that both the buyers are in the room. Yeah, I told a buddy of mine that whoever's going to win that card is probably someone who's buying a pack anyway to get in the room with Logan and for the marketing. I figured they have something to sell. I don't think this person had something to sell. I think maybe a fund or something they want people to be part of. They didn't really push it. I thought there'd be a massive marketing thing. I think it was kind of a poor move to have the guy there live. I think having a second sort of win, the second sort of marketing push where they show the guy, you have like a 3 to 7 day window where you're drawing hype. Who is it? Who is it? Who could this have been? Oh, it's a fake sale. And all the naysayers being like, oh, it's not real. But having the guy there, like, yeah, I'm going to buy it. It's like, kind of, especially when people know like who he's associated with and where the money comes from. Um, I really wish they would have, kind of extended it out. I think you could add more marketing stuff here. And Logan probably knew that, but at the same time, it's like he's not gonna stop Ken from running the show. So crazy sale. I know Pokecolor was the second highest bidder that they announced, and they had a very, very kind statement that came out said, props to the winning bidder. I thought it was a very class act from Pokecolor. I think they continue to add some high quality people to their team that have really sort of reshaped, I think, what a lot of people understood Pokecolor as, and they're becoming sort of one of the larger brokers and middlemen in the industry. And so it's kind of cool to see that they were actually able to pursue that. So I don't know if they have some massive backers, some really wealthy people backing them, but Pokecolor and the guy that won it, AJ, were in the room, which is
Yeah.
insane. So
So we got absolutely cooked on our estimate on what we thought that the Illustrator was going to finish that. If
what'd
you
you say?
watch, yeah, I forget. I didn't. You said above 10 million. I did not go above 10.
I
Uh,
said 13.4.
yeah, I did not go above 10. I know that for that much. But if you watched our episode with Jesse, Jesse kind of actually already kind of knew what the final bid was going to be because he knew what AJ was going to bid and he knew what Pokecolor was going to bid. So
I
he
wish you
kind
would have said. They should have said what they were.
yeah, I know. You just yeah, so AJ, Polka Color, both in the room, bidding on the same card. It's one of those things that the final value of this card. I know, like AJ has publicly said he evaluates this card eventually reaching $100 million. Um,
Series B investor. He's a Series B guy.
no, what you're doing is you're not paying $16.5 million for the actual value, real day value of the card. You're paying for the story of this card. You're paying for its provenance. Like, and I know he's posted that he's doing like a film that deals with collectibles, which this card probably will have a prominent feature in. Which in that case, it kind of makes sense to, I would say, overpay because you're going to utilize this item to make you money and other avenues, which I fully understand if it's going to be featured in some film. So it didn't go to, it is not being, it didn't get bought by a collector just to be stored in a safe somewhere forever and taken out to be looked at. It's going to, we're going to keep seeing this thing, Zach, out in the open in front of in our eyes for the next several years at least. My only thing is like, my other big bold prediction, Zach, of another PSA 10 Illustrator eventually surfacing within the next couple of years. Like, once that comes out, because it will come out, that it's no longer a $16 million card. You're paying for the one of one and the story in that case. If another PSA 10 Illustrator pops up, then that just plummets down.
Every time I see that Illustrator, my gut reaction is just to be like, a 9. Like, that's my first thought. It's like,
Oh man.
I mean,
So
it's got
just
all these little diamonds make it look good and pretty. I mean, think about all these week 10s. It's like you got this little 10 label at the top and make it look real nice. And, to cover, it's just to hide all that edgeware you can't see, and then you flip it over, you're like, oh, this card was loved. It's
okay,
perfect if that
okay,
one's good.
okay. We can stop trashing on it. It didn't do anything wrong. All right, so let's just macro level post Golden auction. Where are we at? Where are we at in the hobby, Zach? Where are we at? Where are we at in Pokemon Modern Vintage? Is this going to be another boom? Is this $16.5 million sale even gonna make the market go even crazier? We're gonna have a little bit of lull. Where are we going in the short and long term here?
Hobby is booming, 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 booming to the point that the card you want is not even available to buy at any price. That is how booming we are. It is unsustainable. It is not possible to continue this rate of growth for a prolonged period of time. The hobby will change at some point. I think people have been saying it's going down. It's whatever for a long time. Just so when it does change, Remember what's important in life: your family, friends, the memories, the shows, the cards. Will go up and down in value. Like I know right now it's hard to see that favorite EXU card going down in value, but cards will eventually go down. But for now, the cards are going to go up, and they're going to keep going up, and you're going to see record sales like you've never seen before. You're going to see cards that were $300 a couple years ago that are 2 or 3 grand. Most recently, you're going to see those cards sell for 15, 20 grand, and it is going to make you just not understand how people afford these things. We're just
I,
at new levels. We're at new levels.
I sold a Prime Meganium the other day for $19,400, which
Hmm.
is unheard of. And people were contemplating that it was not a fake sale. I mean, it wasn't a real sale. I can tell you it was a real sale because if the money hit my bank account, I spent all of it already. It's just it evaporated into the ether, into more plastic, into another sea of plastic. That's fine though. That's fine. Yeah, I sold something and then I put the money straight back into the hobby again.
When you get these sales, save that cash, protect
I
that
can't do
cash.
it. I
You're
can't do
getting
it. I
you're
can't do
getting
it, Zach.
sales that are never happened in the history of the hobby before. It is not a time to be buying for your PC. If you have PC goals, don't buy right now. It's
No,
not.
it's not.
It's
There weren't PC purchases. They were, but like saving for a person with ADHD like myself. Once that money hits that bank account, it's very difficult
save
to
your cash.
save the cash.
Everyone should save your cash.
Yes, you
Like
should listen
you
to
should
Zach. I can't listen to Zach because I can't. I have a problem. I have a collecting problem, but that's fine. It's okay. We're all in it. If the card
ride
hits,
this wave. Sell your whatever card. It's your mystery cards getting big offers now for 50K. Save it. That card will sell again in the future for 10K.
yeah.
Like it's just the market will adjust. PSA, when ownership changes at some point, may change their grading standards. They may say, "Oh my gosh, like we're going to grade PSA 10s again." That would be a catalyst that would change the hobby. There was a point where I owned 50% of the Flash Fire Full Art Charizards when it was like pop like 8 or 10 or something. So I thought it was a killer long-term investment. I thought it was like the first Full Art Charizard. It was perfect, made a lot of sense. I think I graded the first one ever, sold for like $800, and then I bought the rest for like 3 or 400. And then out of nowhere, PSA graded like 30 or 40 of them. It totally changed the pop. It made what I bought like plummet down like 100, $200. I know that sounds crazy, but like that market existed at one point. And so if PSA has a fundamental change with how they grade and supply, you are going to see these 20K sales dip down to 1,000 because
Mhm.
there are a lot of deserving 10s that are not getting 10s. Um, and with the card care cleaning stuff out there now, it's very easy to make an ugly 8 look like a 10. I know it's very like you see the stories all the time, blows my mind.
A little lipstick.
So, I mean, it's not Jinx good, but it could be.
It's gonna be good.
Just be careful. Be careful. That's the advice to everyone. Be careful.
Be careful. Stay as liquid as possible.
Mhm.
All right, so let's wrap up with a little bit of collector's corner. We did have questions, but we recorded our session with Jesse, and then we moved straight into this session. So we've been recording for like 2.5 hours now. So we're gonna move it. We're gonna skip questions for this week. We'll save them for next week. We'll bank your questions and we'll address them next time. So let's move into collector's corner. We have another card. I went first in the Jesse episode before. No, Zach went first. All right, so since we're anniversary, we're in anniversary time. And I know Zach loves black and white art. Zach absolutely loves the black and white art style. So I decided to bring an anniversary card with a black and white design. So this is the Japanese exclusive black and white 15th anniversary Pikachu.
Oh, so beautiful.
So beautiful. My last copy, I sold the other one way too soon. Way too soon and did not get enough money for it. Actually, this one might have been Steffi Chu's. I'm not 100% sure. One of them came from Steffi Chu. I can't remember, but it could be one of her cards. Um, I can't remember which one would belong to her, but just a little commemorative 15th anniversary. I expected it to actually go a bit higher than it has, just because it's the 50th anniversary card. We're hitting 30th anniversary, Still hasn't hit that peak performance that I thought that I wanted, but still like it, still enjoy it, still I got
Pi
it. So yeah,
Pikachu never evolves, so you just gotta keep that in mind.
it's
Pikachu
true.
never evolves.
It's true. All right, what you got
With it
today?
being 30th anniversary, with it being, big, big time, with the market being just exploding huge, I decided to go really big and get a really, really big card, and this is a jumbo card. This is a
Jumbo.
sweet tune from Aquapolis. This was the last box topper I needed to complete my box topper set. I looked for this card for maybe 3 years. I found it at one point where someone wanted, like, 10x, like, the last sales, and I was like, "Listen, I'm not gonna pay 3.5K when they're all going for 100, $200." So it's like, eventually I did buy this card for actually more than 3.5K, I'm pretty sure.
Oh my god.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was like a 2 or 3K. It was something where, like, the guy gave it to me for what he bought it for, like, the month prior, he just snagged it on eBay, which is nice 'cause I really I get to the point that I was buying into Aquapolis box breaks to get the box topper, getting Suicunes, and then they were still grading 9s. That is how hard, like, I've got, like, 3 or 4 9s of these that were from boxes that, like, I watched get open. Incredibly, incredibly tough to grade. Countless times we went through different weekends, and it's like the thing with these Aquapolis cards, you look at the back, and it's like it's a real Pokemon card, and people don't realize, like, the Skyridge ones are, like, literally, like, plastic that you can literally throw it on the ground just to get a PSA 10. It's like, unless you, like, really dig your nails in the surface, it's so easy to grade. The LC cards are the same way where they have, like, the backing like this, and they actually have the different hollow flow. It's not the firework hollow flow. It's a little different. They changed it. So it's a unique hollow flow pattern. It's really cool for people that don't collect this. So again, 16 of those you got to chase, and sort of like the Watsy chase I had for years. When the last card you need is like a 3 year sort of chase, it makes the feeling like when you complete a goal like that much more surreal. So because the hobby's hype, because everything's big, it's big, big, big. I thought we'd go really big today for Collector's Corner.
I have the exact opposite thing with you when I meet my collecting goals. Like it's kind of like a I hyper focus on like this collecting goal that I have, and then it happens, and it's kind of just like it's almost like a bubble pops, and it's like okay, I got it now. Move on to the next thing. I don't take the time to appreciate it. I don't think as much as I probably should.
When you get your last card at 60%, it's hard to be excited about this deal that just falls into your lap. It's like, "Here's that. Can I get that last, base Japanese Magneton for 30 bucks? I know I just bought the Alakazam for 40." It feels like a lot.
Yeah, I know, I hear you. But you did good because with grading standards now, there shouldn't be another PSA 10 coming anytime soon, unless there's a revamp of the grading standards.
But as a collector, I hate that. I want other people to collect stuff. If the pop should be 1,000, let it be 1,000. That's why I always thought low pop collectors were, like, chasing the wrong things. Because, like, I fundamentally think pop should only go up. Oh, it's just fire flood, whatever. And it kills me because, like, I want the hobby to be inclusive. I want the hobby to grow. I don't think the hobby should ever be like isolated or small or like just hey, a little exclusive club. Like to me, that's like anti everything I'm about, everything I want to be about. It's like if there should be 100 of those in the pop, like let there be 100. Let the market decide, And so it's like if this card is 10K and pop three, but if you got to pop 1,000 and it's like $100, it's like the market cap's actually bigger. You know what I mean? It just I don't know. It's really weird when you think about it from, like, that perspective, and, I don't know, I want the hobby to be, fair.
I agree that if it's a 10, it should grade a 10, it should be a 10. I do kind of disagree that it should be like easy though. I feel like the
It
fun
shouldn't be
part
easy,
I feel like the fun part is how difficult it is.
but they have cut out all 10s. Like, I had a Skyridge sub come back today that were packed fresh reverses, they gave 7s and 8s,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "What?" I'm
Yeah.
looking at this and I'm like, "This is crazy."
Yeah. I have
Skyridge is one of the best sets ever.
I have 5 sealed binders of Southern Islands that there's no point of opening them.
Mhm.
I
Those have
I
gone up a lot. Those are
I
very valuable right now.
I opened if I open one, I'm just gonna get 7s and 8s back, and that's pack fresh, well, stack fresh.
Max
It
Fresh?
comes in a bent stack. The cards are bent when they come out.
Okay.
Anyways, um, so there's no point of opening them. Just 0 point. I'm not gonna get I'm missing 3 hollows from that set. I'm never gonna get them.
Well,
like grading them myself.
you get a consolidation, or however you say it, Neopack you can open. So you get a little
Consolation packs.
Neopack
That's my
consolation.
consolation, but that's
Yeah.
if I get a hollow in there, that's not gonna grade 10 either. And what am I gonna do with an unlimited PSA 7 hollow Neo Rev card? Nothing. Nothing.
We'll call them honorary 10s. They deserve to be in there, but
Yeah, they need to with vintage. Well, it's kind of hard because you're also combating the cleaning market as well. Because if they lower their standards on vintage, then the cleaners will go to the cleaners basically and go to the bank. So I know why. I can argue it from both sides. But
yeah.
interesting times we live in, exciting times, and we will be back once in every week. I'm seeing Zach in a couple weeks again. I'm seeing Zach in a month in person. It's gonna be great.
This
Gonna
is
take,
crazy.
gonna
When does
take you.
Petra come to America? That's my question.
We're gonna go to a nice steakhouse. Since we're still in Canada, it'll be my treat. I'm gonna
Yes,
research.
yeah, come to America. Let me buy you some food.
We're gonna have like a nice steak in the middle of Canada. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna be buying lots of cards at 85% market rate.
This is insane.
All
I
right, thank you everyone for joining us today, and once again, big congratulations to our honorary Hall of Famer, Zach Browning, and all your accomplishments, Zach.
thank you. I can't wait till next time. I'll see you in Canada.